Well, hello and welcome to our program today. It's been a long time since I've talked to everybody. I finished up the Friday night program, and in all honesty, I was so burnt out by that point from putting so many hours into that. I really just needed a break, and I didn't realize how badly I needed one. So it's been a while, but weather's starting to get pretty around here, and I sort of started getting cabin fever, and really just wanted to get with you and touch base again. And today I want to talk about a topic that I've been wanting to do this program for a long time, and I hope I can adequately do it without going off into too many tributaries. There's so many things on my mind these days. It's going to be hard to stay focused and keep it in the middle of the aisle, so to speak. But I want to talk about our personal relationship with God. But before I do that, we've got a couple of songs I want to do today that hopefully will be on topic. And one of the things that we, as Christians, we believe that one day we will go to a place called heaven. Now, I can't describe to you what heaven is. I know that all of us have a picture of what we think it will be, but none of us really know. It's just something that we believe in. And, we don't know if it's a place or an idea, or whether we will be spiritual bodies or will we have physical bodies like this. Nobody knows. I mean, you have people trying to tell you all of this, it's going to be so and so and so. They don't know. None of us know. Unless you have died and gone there and come back, you don't know what it is. So it is an article of faith. So I want to get into more about faith and stuff on the other side, but let's do a beautiful song right now. It's called How Beautiful Heaven Must Be.
Of a place that's called heaven. It's made for the pure and the free. These truths in God's word He has given. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be, must be. Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. Pure waters of life there are flowing, and all who drink may be free. Rare jewels of splendor are glowing. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be, must be. Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. The angels so sweetly are singing up there by the beautiful sea. Sweet chords from their golden harps ringing. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be, must be. Sweet home of the happy and free, fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be. Oh, how beautiful heaven must be.
I've been giving this topic some thought for a while, and as all of you know, my point of being, and sometimes I fail at this, sometimes I see stuff on YouTube and I just have to respond, and sometimes I'm not as Christian as I should be about it because some things just seem so dumb to me today. It's hard for me not to say what I truly feel about it, but I try to do it in a kind way. I try not to call names, and I try not to belittle people, because everybody has a right to their opinion and their belief. You don't have a right to your own facts. The facts are the facts, but if you want to believe alternate facts, you can do that. There's nothing anybody can do. It's not against the law. Might not help you in your life, but it's not against the law. But anyway, what I've always tried to do is to have us be kind to each other. And oh, by the way, I just came out of the garden, so that I just knew I wanted to do this talk. It was on my mind. So you see me in my garden clothes today, but that's the reason for that. But anyway, I always want us to approach each other with kindness and with understanding that not everybody sees things the same way. We all have, just like I said about heaven, you can talk to 100 people and have them, without talking to each other, write their description of heaven down. And you're probably going to get 100 different ideas of what heaven is. Well, who's right and who's wrong? No one can prove that they're right, but they can't prove anybody else is wrong. So it's article of faith. Anyway, your personal relationship with God. Let's think about this for a minute. Let me liken it to something that a lot of us relate to these days. Do you have a PC? Do you have a personal computer? A lot of you do. And if you don't have a personal computer, you probably got a personal phone. Okay, now what I mean by that, what do I mean by that? Your personal computer has your files on it. Those files mean something to you. They might be your letters. They might be your emails. They might be your writings. They might be your bank accounts. It's your data. It's the stuff that means something to you. But it wouldn't mean anything to me because I don't have your bank account. I don't have your friends. I don't have your, I'm not your email. I'm not, see what I'm saying? I don't do the same social media that you do. Some people like YouTube, some people like Facebook, some people like Instagram, and I'm sure there's a dozen others that I don't even know about. But you see what I'm saying? Life is personal. We all have a personal thing going on in life. Nobody else is like you. You can have a twin sister or brother, and they might look a little bit like you, but they are not exactly like you. And you might do a lot of things alike, but you're not exactly the same. I have two brothers, and in many ways, we're a lot alike. We are brothers, and we were raised by the same mother and dad. We were taught the same things in life, but in many ways, we're completely different. We even look at religion a little bit different, but we don't fight about it, But anyway, if you have a personal relationship with God, you have your own set of files. You have your own relationship with Him, and it will be different from anybody else. Yes, you might go to a church where you largely agree about certain things, but if you dig deep enough, there are things that it will be a little different, Okay, we have in the Protestant faith, I suppose that Catholics and Protestants are sort of in the same boat, but highly different, Okay, let's get over to the Protestant faith. Putting Catholic faith aside, I don't mean that in any negative way. I'm just going to point something out. In the Protestant faith alone, there's somewhere around 1,000 different denominations. And each one of those denominations, they will tell you they figured it out. They have it right. And if you belong to that denomination, you largely going to agree with what they're saying is right about the Bible. And yet there can be some very big differences between what people, and we all call ourselves Christians, and we all read the same book. Am I getting home to you about what I mean by a personal relationship with God? Okay, what I'm trying to say is this. If I want you to leave me alone with my personal relationship and not criticize me, I must give you the same privilege. I must respect your way of looking at things and your way of believing things. I might disagree with it totally, but who am I to judge whether that's going to send you to heaven or hell? Now this is my opinion, but if Jesus said this, what commandments do you think the most of? They ask him. I'm paraphrasing here. He said, 2 commandments sums everything up. And I'm paraphrasing again. Love God. Okay. God. What does that mean? What is God? Who is God? There again, what you think of as God is personal to you. You will find very few people that will see it exactly like you do. Now, there will be things that you agree on about what we think God is. But, but here's the problem. Here's where the real problem comes in. Some people are so set on their way, they think they've got to get everybody to see it their way or everybody else is lost. Do you start to see the ridiculousness of that? That is being weak in your faith, because if you can't get everybody in your boat, you've got to have everybody believing it just like you do. Well, how are we going to do that? Now we got one faction that's want to make everything. This has got to be a Christian. I'm a Christian. I wish everybody was a Christian. And I wish the whole world was that. Then we'd be playing on a level playing field, and at least we'd have one book. We might disagree on that book, but we're all coming from the same. But it isn't that way, y'all. And you can't make it, you can't do it by law. You cannot force somebody to be a Christian by law. Christianity is a condition of your heart. And if your heart is not right, you can say all day, I'm a Christian. You can raise the Bible up, and you can take photographs, and you can talk about this and that and the other. But if your heart is not right, if you're not out there trying to help somebody or feeding the hungry or clothing the needy or healing the sick, if you're not doing those things, a tree is known by its fruit. If you're not bearing Christian fruit, I'm not going to say you're not a Christian. I'm just going to say your tree's not showing it, So my point is this. We cannot, there's a big reason why I very much believe in the separation of church and state. I do not think state should be involved in telling you what religion you have to choose. What if it wasn't my religion? What if all of a sudden we get somebody to come along and finally take over? Let's install us a dictator. Let's install us a king. All of a sudden the wrong guy comes along, and now all of a sudden he wants to change the religion. What you going to do then? Like I was saying, all right, let's just say we choose the Christian faith. All right, which version of it? Which denomination? We got 1,000 of them. Which of those denominations do we choose? Who is going to be the arbiter of which parts of the faith we keep and which parts we don't keep? No man is that smart. So the reason that we fought for freedom in this country, and yes, religion had a lot to do with the founding of this country, but it wasn't just one religion. There was all kind of faiths that were involved in wanting to be free to worship as their heart dictates. Are you starting to get what I mean by a personal relationship with God? It has nothing to do with the law. You cannot dictate to someone that they will be a Christian. You can make them go to church every Sunday or fine them. That doesn't mean they're going to be a Christian. If your heart does not change willingly, you're just not going to be a Christian. You're not going to apply yourself. And this is part of why a lot of the world is starting to go, man, if that's Christianity, I don't want any part of it, because we try to force it down their throat. Nobody is going to accept this if we keep jabbing them with it. We are to live exemplary lives so that they want to be a part of it, not such that we make them be a part of it. We can't make them be a part of it. If we would quit trying to take our own little way of looking at things and cram it down everybody else's throat and try to pass laws that force it to be that way. I wish it was all, I wish everybody was good. I wish everybody was kind. I wish everybody believed the same way, but people, we don't. So our next best effort is to get along with each other. We must learn to deal with somebody who believes differently than we do, or lives a different lifestyle than we do. We may even detest some people's lifestyle, but until they start doing things that impinge on my freedom, I don't have the right to tell them they're wrong. They don't have the right to tell me I'm wrong either. Are you seeing what I'm getting at? Okay. Getting back to our personal relationship with God. He even said when you pray, go into your room. Well, I don't think he literally. The Bible, a lot of times we take things literally. Everything in the Bible is supposed to be, well, it's not literal. Everything in the Bible is not literal. Jesus taught in parables. We know for a fact those were not true stories. They were just stories to teach a heavenly meaning. We have to allow freedom of thought, whether we agree with it or not. Now, if that thought starts to, I like to say, I ought to be able to swing my bat any way I want to, as long as I don't hit you with it, and vice versa. Okay, when we start hitting each other with our bats, that is where the law comes in. And that's where we have to go to, there has to be some rules and regulations. But I'm for as few rules and regulations as we can get away with. Sometimes I think we overdo it with the rules and regulations, and other times I think we don't do enough. It seems like the people with the money get away with everything. But you can look at it. Depends on your station in life as to how you look at things. I'm sure the rich think they don't have enough, and us poor folks trying to buy groceries this week, But if you can understand what I'm trying to say, don't fall for this stuff that we're just going to make this Christian nation, just let me take over and I'm going to fix everything. Everybody's going to be believing in God after. No, they won't. Which God? Whose God? What description of God? Most of these people's God is money. They don't tell you that, but that's what they do. The whole thing is a grift. I like to say that Washington, D.C. is a dog and pony show that entertains us while they pick our pocket. And while that might not be totally true, there's a lot of truth in that, So a lot of times I like to tell people I haven't voted for anybody in a long time, just against somebody, That's sad because there's that much corruption. But if you don't think there's corruption on both sides, then you're not paying attention, But you don't ever listen to what a politician says. Watch what they do. Look at the result of what they do. Did what they do create jobs, or did it cost us jobs? Did what they do replenish the shelves, or did it leave us with empty shelves? There's only one time I can remember in our country that there was empty shelves in our country. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But there was. We had trouble getting toilet paper, But I got a little off topic there. Back to what I was saying. Let's be kind to each other. Let's try to be understanding of each other's way of looking at things. Even if we disagree, let's don't fight about it. We can discuss it. We can talk about it. But let's be kind in our discussion. I don't need to call you a name if I don't agree with you. You don't need to call me a name. That's not going to solve anything. So I'm talking to myself. Every time I do these talks, I'm talking largely to myself. I'm reminding myself that I need to be kind too, because I tell you, there's some things I see that are just right off the bat. My judgment thing goes down to the level of, man, these people are crazy, but they're not. They're just misled in many instances, and they don't bother to find out things. They just listen to their friends and they listen to talking points and they just believe this stuff. Do some research. It's easy to research. You got a phone. You probably got the internet. You got the internet, or you wouldn't be watching me. But anyway, I always point this out. Let's just be kind to each other. Let's try to learn to discuss things in a civil manner, even when we disagree with people that we don't agree with religiously or what we believe. Even if we don't disagree, they're still people. They have a right to their belief, you know. They were raised differently from you, or they would be, you know, if they'd been raised in your family, they might believe the same thing you believe, but they weren't. We were not raised the same. Even in our own country, people were raised with different challenges in their life. There's some rich folks that are poor. They might have a lot of money, but they're poor in spirit and they're poor in other ways. And there's some poor folks that are rich folks because they have loving families. They have things that you can't put a dollar value on. So let's try to be understanding. You know, I'm talking to myself here. I'm trying to learn this too. Let's be more understanding of each other and understand that your relationship to God, you will be manipulated by the politicians will try to manipulate you through your religion and your faith. That's one of their biggest ways to get you on their side. Oh, if they can convince you they're of God and they're sent from God and they're going to straighten everything out, oh, they can get you to do almost anything because we, as Christians, we tend to believe people. You know, I give a person the benefit of the doubt first. Now, if I start seeing a bunch of lies coming, I start to back up and go, okay, wait a minute. I need to take what this guy or this lady says with a grain of salt. You know, we do learn to be, what's the word? We learn to discern certain things. You know, hopefully we learn it. You know, if we don't, we're going to always be the con man's mark. That's another thing. You know, sometimes you have to admit you were wrong about something, or you will always be the mark. You know, if you let somebody fool you and then rather than admit you were fooled, you'll always be the mark. You'll always be the one they con. You know, so there's no disgrace in someone fooling. We've all been fooled before. At one time or another, somebody told you a lie that you believed. You know, but 9 times out of 10, when you find out it was a lie, you have less respect for that person. It really doesn't mean that you're going to hate them or anything, but you learn to not respect what their word is, you know. So this is it's a touchy subject, you know, because there is a lot of discernment and judgmentalness that does go on, but we can be kind about it. That's my point. We can disagree, but we don't have to hate. You know, we don't have to. You know, like I said, I'm trying to teach myself about this. I don't hate people. You know, there's some people I disagree with, and I might think they're a little bit off. You know, but I keep that to myself. You know, I don't. They have a right to their belief, and they might be right. I might be the one that's wrong. You know, you got to be careful there too. So, anyway, back to your relationship with God. Have your personal relationship with God. However you perceive God to be. You know, when I was growing up, I used to think God was this old man with long gray hair and he was taking names, and boy, at the end of time, he was going to kick butt. I don't know that I believe that anymore. You know, I've come to think that God has to be a spiritual being because a spirit can exist in all places. I think I've done, I know I've mentioned in some of my talks, a spirit, you can have a spirit of kindness, you can have a spirit of sadness, you can have a spirit of evil, you can have a spirit of good. I mean, these are feelings, these are things that we experience, but in a, not something we can see, but it's just something that is, you know, that spirit of happiness. You know what I mean when I say that? I don't really see it. I can see it manifested in you if you're smiling all the time and seem to enjoy life. Then there is a spirit of happiness that dwells within you, and I can see that. I can't see the spirit. I can see the manifestation of that spirit. See what I'm saying? And so God, if you think of God as being all things good and the devil as being all things evil, well then you don't have to have these visions of a guy with a ponytail and a pitchfork wearing a red suit, or Jesus or God sitting on a throne with a wand and he's going to zap you every time you do. I think we need to get beyond that. You know, we need to look. God is this. It's such a powerful entity because good is a powerful entity. But the devil is a powerful entity because evil is a powerful entity. Now, if you want to personify those two things, and you have to have some vision of an earthly being that personifies good and evil, then, you know, if that's what it takes for you to understand that or put that in place, have at it. Like I said in one of my other talks, however you believe that gets you to Jesus telling us to love God and to love your fellow man. And when he said love your fellow man, when he said love your neighbor, right then they asked him, well, who is our neighbor? And I'm going to do another talk on this, but he said, he told the story of the Good Samaritan. And I'll get into that at another time, otherwise we'll be here another 30 minutes. But he did not say love your neighbor if they're the right color. He didn't say that. He said, love your neighbor. He didn't say love your neighbor unless there's a lot of them. He didn't say that. He said, love your neighbor. He didn't say love your neighbor unless they're sick and need your help. He didn't say that. He said, love your neighbor. See what I'm getting at? That is Christian fruit. When you love God, or good things that are good, however you want to perceive it. If you love God, and if you love your neighbor without condition, then you're producing Christian fruit. And people will see it as such, and they will want to be a part of that. They're not going to want to be a part of somebody trying to cram it down their throat. They don't want that. They don't want you going out and telling them how terrible they are and all this. No. If they see you happy and see you living a good life and see you being something they want to be, you've won the battle. You have won them to our way of looking at things. So let's develop our personal relationship with God, and let's respect other people's personal relationship, even if it may differ some from our way of looking at things. I don't have to answer for you when I'm standing before the throne, whatever the throne's going to be, or whatever judgment day is going to be. I can't explain to you what that's going to be, nor can you explain it to me. You might have your vision of it, and I have my vision of it. But when we come before the throne, I don't have to answer for you. And you don't have to answer for me. So how am I, what gives me the right to tell you how to live, on an everyday basis? Think about this too. I was thinking about it today. The Bible, when we talk about Jesus talks to us and we walk and talk with Jesus and all that kind of stuff, what we're talking about is we follow what was taught us in the Bible. The Bible, in a way, is a best practices book. If we do the things the way the Bible points out for us to do them, we stand a much better chance of being happy in this life than any other way we can walk. So the Bible, in a way, is a guidebook for life. And that's why it's so important. But anyway, continue developing your personal relationship with God, and let Brother Joe or Sister Sarah over here, let them develop their way of life. Now, if you want to get together and in a friendly way discuss your progress and their progress and all that, but don't judge them for their progress or lack of, and I don't want them judging me for my progress or lack of, But we can share that with each other. But we don't need to call each other names in the process in case we don't agree on something. Just be friendly with people. Be kind to people. I'm going to wind up with a song that when you walk and talk with Jesus, you're going to have you're just going to have a better life. Like I said, the Bible is sort of a best practices book. It teaches us a good way for us to conduct ourselves here on earth, and it leads us into, I think we're misled a lot of times. Some of these TV I call them scam evangelists. They promise you this big rosy thing. All you got to do is send them some of your grocery money every week. And your life's just going to be magic. It doesn't work that way, folks. It is, You have to put in the effort. You have to live a certain way. Now, will you always have a happy life? No, you're gonna have flat tires along the way. But if you follow the practices in the Bible, it'll help you get past the flat tire and back on the road again. So that's the beauty of the Bible. It's a helpful way. The Bible is not given to us for us to judge others with. It's given to us for us to learn how to live a better life. But anyway, I'm going to wind up with a song called Precious Jesus, Hold My Hand.
As I travel through this pilgrim land, there is a friend who walks with me, leads me safely through the sinking sand. It is the Christ of Calvary. This would be my prayer, dear Lord, each day to help me do the best I can. For I need thy light to guide me day and night. Blessed Jesus, hold my hand. Jesus, hold my hand. I need thee every hour. Through this pilgrim land, protect me by thy power. Hear my feeble plea, oh Lord, look down on me. When I kneel in prayer, I hope to meet you there. Blessed Jesus, hold my hand. Let me travel in the light divine, that I may see the blessed way. Keep me that I may be wholly thine, and sing redemption song someday. I will be a soldier brave and true, and ever firmly take a stand, as I onward go and daily meet the foe. Blessed Jesus, hold my hand. Jesus, hold my hand. I need thee every hour. Through this pilgrim land, protect me by thy power. Hear my feeble plea, oh Lord, look down on me. When I kneel in prayer, I hope to meet you there. Blessed Jesus, hold my hand. Toward the setting of the sun, lead me safely to a land of rest, if I a crown of life have won. I have put my faith in thee, dear Lord, that I may reach the golden strand. There's no other friend on whom I can depend. Blessed Jesus, hold my hand. Jesus, hold my hand. I need thee every hour. Through this pilgrim land, protect me by thy power. Hear my feeble plea, oh Lord, look down on me. When I kneel in prayer, I hope to meet you there. Blessed Jesus, hold my hand. When I kneel in prayer, I hope to meet you there. Blessed Savior, hold my hand.
Well, I hope today's talk helps you think in ways where we become less judgmental of each other and more caring for each other. And we allow them, we all have to grow at our own pace, you know. Some days I search harder than other days, you know. Some days I'm weaker than other days. Some days I'm too quick to pick up my keyboard and start answering some of these things I see on YouTube and everything, you know. I don't know why I do, because it's not going to do any good. You know, I mean, people are what they are, and they're going to be what they're going to be. And it's very rare that we can make somebody stop and think, you know. But I still do, you know. I just, so bad I want to just show everybody. But see, what I'm trying to do is show them my way of thinking. You know, their way of thinking is probably just as good as mine. But then there's times when I like to listen to people. Sometimes I learn from other people, you know. So, and I guess that's why I still do this, because there are times when you say something that might mean something to somebody. Sometimes somebody will say something I never thought about before. Well, another way of looking at it, you know. So let's share our thoughts and things with each other, but let's don't argue about it. The devil loves it when we argue with each other. Arguing dogma is his favorite tool. You know, when somebody thinks they've got it all figured out, and they're gonna tell you, and this one's got it all figured out, and you've got it all figured out, and everybody, that's wasted time, you know. But anyway, I hope everybody's having a beautiful spring. But it's starting to get beautiful here in North Carolina. In fact, I just came in out of the garden. I had this on my mind and just wanted to talk to you about it for a minute. But anyway, good to be back with you for a little while, and hopefully we'll have another reunion show before too long. But just remember, be kind to each other. I'll see you on the next program.